Hello, everyone, and welcome to Living in the Limelight. I'm your host, Jay Huller. As a quick reminder, please follow us on Instagram at Living in the Limelight Show and check out our website at livinginthelimelight.com. And of course, you can find our podcasts at almost all of the major streaming services. Every week, we feature another conversation with a stage performer where we delve into what makes them tick and hopefully get a little glimpse into some of the behind-the-scenes action. This week, we feature a conversation with Coley Gilchrist. Coley is a force to reckon with. She's a singer, dancer, director, producer, just about anything in the entertainment industry that you can put an on at the end, she has a hand in. She has actively been developing her craft for most of her life with lots of credits to her name. She's an independent artist with seemingly limitless potential and creative energy. Let's meet Coley. Welcome to Living in the Limelight.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure.
It is an honor to have you on. Of course, you and I have known each other for a few years, but one of the main goals of this podcast is to just get good people out into the world. And you're just such a solid person in my corner, in my world, and the things that I do that is an absolute pleasure to be able to take this time and talk about you and the things that you do and sort of paint a picture of the entertainment industry in general as an independent artist, because there are so many of you out there, and it's a struggle I can only imagine akin to like an author. So maybe we'll start there. As like, just tell us what it's like in your day-to-day life as a creator, as an independent artist, and the good things and maybe the struggles and how you kind of overcome some of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you once again for having me. It's a pleasure to talk with you. I am an independent. I'm an independent singer, performer, entertainer. I've been performing live and producing and releasing music. Kind of consistently and for real for like the past 5 years, I would say. I come from a family that is filled with great different styles of music that I was born into. So I have such a mixture of that with what I do now, and just with the bold personality and like the things I was given as someone coming from two sides of my family, my mom's side, my dad's side, and also kind of a mixture of my religion and my spirituality. All that kind of is what I put out into the world today, with whether it's a song or a skit or I'm dancing somewhere and creating a video of some kind. My content is something that I really cherish because I know that people enjoy it, and it just is a way to put clean, wholesome, but entertainment out into the world, and that's what I really love to do. So I do a little bit of everything, but mainly definitely singing and performing.
So when you wake up on a typical day, let's say not a day that you're booked on a gig because that's where you're headed, but on an off day, when you wake up, is your brain totally consumed with just ideas jumping at you, or is it more kind of a steady flow? Does it come and go? And how do they present themselves? Because one of the greatest things I love about having good conversations with artists is I want to try to get inside their brain a little bit, because I'm a very left brain person. I'm a computer geek, and I can think of things in logic terms, but that whole creative side has just been fascinating to me. I want to grab onto it. So how does it, is it a natural thing for you, or do you sit down and go, I think I want to write a song today? And is it more of a structure, or how does it happen?
Yeah, every day is a bit different. I definitely, if an idea comes to mind, and if it's like one that I'm really excited about, I will give it as much time as I can to really, go straight to either writing something down or just typing it out to kind of get it out of my brain before I move on to the next thing and like forget about it. I hate when I forget about good ideas or when something comes to mind. So, I'm constantly, either thinking about social media related content just to keep that flow going, because that's really a job of an independent artist.
Absolutely.
If you don't have it for you, you're kind of the one who has to be on top of that stuff. And I don't mind it. I enjoy it, but it can get overwhelming. So I do try to start my day with just, not diving right into it if I can help it. Um, there's tons of ways things come to me, whether I'm getting inspiration from something else or it's an idea that was kind of left in the dust and I revisit it and I don't want to give up on it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really the schedule of my day. It always depends. Something is always shifting and changing, or something that I didn't plan is always happening. Whether an idea for a song comes to me and I stop everything to get it done, or I'm backed up on other work and just learning more about the music industry, or just doing some more studying up on different artists and whatever else for knowledge that I'd like to have. You know, it comes in waves, and that's the interesting part about it is um, when in other parts of my life, I am so organized and I like things to be planned out. It's kind of fun to have some spontaneity in in the way creativity hits me and different ideas come into my mind for me to kind of get them out into the world.
And that makes total sense, and it gives me hope because I'm glad to know that you have a structured side. Because the what I see of you and what the public sees is just the magnificent content and the songs and the videos, and it's like, oh my gosh, she must do that 24/7. But and this is what people need to realize: there's a lot of work in the background, especially as an independent. Like you said, if
Yeah.
you don't have someone who's got the social media under wraps, I know, for example, young performers who their parents do it for them, and
Hmm.
they're free as a youngster should be to live their life and create. But as an adult,
Right.
you have to make those choices, and you got to do some things to pull the lights on and the bill and the roof over your head and whatnot. So I feel for you on that, and I would love for you to have an environment where it was just you were doing your thing, and that could be the case. Of course, down the road, that's the dream, is to have that just a open calendar, right, where you
Right.
can do what you want. So I love your origin story, and it shows because of the diversity of content that you put out there. Could you speak a little bit to how maybe you have seen music and entertainment in general evolve over the time, and how your mission and your direction might be a little bit contrary to that, but on purpose?
Yeah. Absolutely. Like I said, I've been exposed since an early age to different styles of music, um, R&B, pop. I was a big Disney girl,
Mm.
and I think a lot of that shows in my songwriting today. But also, gospel and Christian music were my roots, and I'm so blessed to have that a part of my life and just what I live and breathe, because it translates into my creativity, into my artistry, everything I put out. So with the industry today, I've seen that there's a gap, happening with just what I'd like there to be more representation of in the industry,
Mm.
and I feel myself filling that gap, and that what I think is missing is more music, more entertainment, more creative, who whose values shine through, and the values stand for being able to reach people of all different ages. Nothing that is overly explicit or just offensive here and there. I think we're missing some different elements of storytelling that are just a little more loving and a little just less harsh.
Mhm.
There's a lot of negativity that is pouring into our youth, and I wanted to be a part of the opposite end of that. I want to give back positive imagery, positive storytelling, and things that I know that my parents will be proud of seeing me perform, later on down the line. I When I was getting into singing and like understanding that, oh, I can perform and build a name for myself just like other artists have. But you got to start somewhere, and so if you don't have original music out, then you go to doing covers.
Right.
And when I was getting into covers, and me and my vocal coach, we were looking for things, and it was kind of challenging to find songs that I could sing as a 10-year-old girl at an open mic or at the community festival that were appropriate, but also that, showed them that I had real skill and real drive and could really entertain and wow them with my vocals and with my presence. So that's what I want to give back to the music industry and to the entertainment industry in general. Music that can just be so relatable to different age groups, and no matter where you come from or what you do, some piece of my artistry can stick with you, and that's the goal for me.
It's really admirable, and it reminds me of a couple of things. One, are there artists, contemporary artists today that you would align with, and they would be, you'd say, inspirational for you, and that you would turn toward as that would feed your fire versus like, I'm not so sure. Are there a couple of artists that you could name that would fit that mold?
Absolutely. Well, when I get this question, it's always hard for me to instantly think of a list of people, but the one person that stands out will always be Tori Kelly.
Oh.
And I don't, the music I make is, similar to her style, but, I have elements of more R&B and soul in different, textures of what I do, but she was just such a go-to. She's just such a pillar of someone who has broken the barriers of being, kind of basically a secular performer, secular singer, but also, I can sing Christian music and I can write a full Christian album that goes to the top of the charts because that's still such a big side of me. I don't have to hide my religion or have to kind of keep things secret in order to be, a world-known name, a national name, a national entertainer. And her being the powerhouse that she is, the talent was undeniable anyways. So just knowing that she's been so unapologetic about, where she comes from and what she believes, that definitely gave me the kick to know I can do the same thing and then be able to touch people of my color, in that own way. And then people of all colors. But definitely for the Black community, I think it's great to have, somebody like that who's giving back in a positive way and who can reach these young folks and have something they enjoy. So Tori Kelly's another person. Michael Jackson, he was someone who was just so and all of his songs, had meaning and just that factor behind them that people really, really enjoy. And it's just something that's undeniable. Whitney Houston, those big names. And I think it's something that most big names kind of carry with them, that thing of being just so versatile and able to reach people. And, I don't want my music to offend. I want people to be able to sing it to my songs and feel seen and feel heard. But, that doesn't mean I have to be cursing at you or talking about this, that, and the third for my message to come across.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you dropped those names in there because it makes me have it is a pretty big question. So take your time with it if you need to. But so with the two tragedies, essentially with Whitney and Houston and Michael Jackson, I can see as popularity and fame arises in someone, there's the draw of all of the negatives of the industry that people are well aware of. How do you think you can maintain, because I really feel like this is going to happen to you, you're going to get to that level because of the dynamic nature of your entertainment and the drive that you have. I've always seen that in you, and that's why I've loved being connected with you. It's just the energy that you bring towards what you do and backing it up with the morals and whatnot. But how do you think you will firm up your own fortitude toward that and those temptations and those negatives as you move along in your career?
Right. It's something that it creeps up on you. Temptation and things can draw you, things that can draw you outside of who you truly are and your true values. They can sneak up on you in so many different ways. And it's just been a test of my faith over the past few years as I continue to be more independent, continue to grow and get older. Just as a young woman, especially somebody who does music and performs, it's so easy in the entertainment industry. You just see people left and right come in one way and get chewed out a totally different way than they were. And I have a lot of faith in the path that God has for me. I know it's going to be hard. It has been hard already just to even have the conversations with myself about, you know what, maybe not that outfit, maybe not that, maybe not that provocative outfit, although it might be cute, but some things that you have to weigh. Is it worth it? I want, like I said, I want my artistry to be acceptable and to be liked and to be interesting to any type of person. And more, even more than that, I want to be proud of what I put out in the world, and I
Right.
want to know that my talent and what's inside of me is the thing that's getting me there. So it just takes it takes self control. It takes trust, and if you trust your gift enough, then you'll know that that's what's going to be the key to get you where you need to be. All that extra stuff is exactly, it's just extra, you know. And I just try to seek out the artists and have faith and look at the artists that I kind of the ones that I named, even ones that are younger and up and coming and grinding. Um, you know, thanking God that they exist or that they have existed for those things in that flame of people who have, their virtue shining through the most has not gone out yet and hasn't dimmed.
Yeah, and it is truly something, and sort of a life lesson maybe for everyone. They say, um, do what you love, and if it's
Mm-hmm.
something that gives you pleasure, but is also beneficial to the world in the positive ways, it's going to have value, and it's going to have perpetuity, and it's going to continue, and it's going to be fulfilling.
Yeah.
So I love that we would lean back on your faith, because I see that. And in one mind, Justin Bieber comes to mind. He's recently expressed that has been a pillar for him. And sometimes the industry, like you say, can chew you up. We just see it too many times. And I know that won't happen to you. And I just can't wait to see what's next around the corner for you, and how you handle it, and what you give us. So let's talk about your content. I was reviewing a few things prior to this, and then I watched several times your dynamic, sort of a self-authored music video for Corduroy, a song that I believe you've kind of talked about this too. The genesis of that song, and how it began, and what people need to be aware of is most cases, or almost all cases, when an artist produces music, it's not 15 minutes in front of a mic at a console. I mean, that might be the draft, but it's nowhere near what it's going to be at the end. And so maybe talk about that song first, and then the video, and how it happened, and the role that you had in it, because you're an independent creator, and you weren't just the music behind the video. You had a big hand in it.
Right. Absolutely. Corduroy, single I put out towards the end of last year. Ooh, time to go by fast. I wrote the song, I think in 2018 was when the first draft kind of came to me. I don't think I was fresh out of a breakup or anything, but emotions can still linger on, long after they've happened,
Sure.
or the event has happened. And I was just in a spot of kind of, I knew the vibe I wanted, and the words just kind of flowed out about a situation where you're losing a loved one, or the person has already kind of left your life. And in this sense, it was mainly catered around a relationship topic, but I was just describing that feeling of not having somebody. And if it's someone who's so important to you and that has been around often, um, you just might have some things of theirs that you've kept on to, or that maybe they haven't come back to get from you yet. And it can be a real shocking, like, awakening and eye opener, to keep things and hold on to things. One, it can be unhealthy, when it's overdue and it's time for you to move on, and you just can't, because sometimes you do have to let go of the physical things in order to spiritually be able to break away from it, and to have that closure that you have to sometimes give yourself about things. And it also translates to if you've lost a loved one and you've gone through that departure, and what it feels like to, have something that tragic happen. It can be heartbreaking to, see remains of their things around you.
Sure.
Whether it's photographs or clothing, even, just remembering how they talked, or jokes they made, or things they would say. All those things have real emotional ties to the heartstrings. So it can be just a difficult thing to realize that you have these things, but that person isn't there, and so the person's gone, and what that heartbreak feels like. So the song does give hope, in a sense, about, in a way, just knowing that everyone goes through it, and it's just normal. but it also, I think, touches people to have, conversations with themselves about, what is something I may be holding on to that may not be serving me anymore from this relationship, that, maybe it's time for me to depart and put behind me and put that in the past. And that's what the song was about.
And
So,
and that is,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, sorry, that's the magic, I think, of music, especially like a TV show or a movie that we watch. It'll stick with you. You might watch it a few times, but music tends to embed itself into our brains. We're humming along to it, and the message behind it, as we roll the lyrics through, we balance it into our lives, right? And I completely appreciate the fact that that song, and in just the two interpretations that you mentioned about losing in a breakup situation or losing a loved one, there are probably dozens more, but how it can land with the public. That's the beauty of art, because then it can be accepted and adopted in the personal way that everyone would love to see it and experience it. Do you find fulfillment in that? Like when you interact with your public and your fans, do you love the personal connections that they bring to you, that your work has done for them?
Oh yes, that is always the icing on the cake for me. Nothing feels much better than that. I know I've had people cheer for me and congratulate me. But when people either come up to me and you just see their face light up, and for them to go the extra mile of letting me know that something specific that I've written has touched them, that's always so impactful to me. Whether it's, if the song has come out and they text me a paragraph message, or they take the time to repost it on Instagram or Twitter or whatever the case, and that they they feel so strongly about it to let others know, and then to make sure that I know and that I see it, that will always just wow me, because nobody has to do that. Nobody has to tell you how they feel about something. They can just enjoy it and go about their business. And it just really validates songwriting for me. As somebody, of course I sing, but I my intentions are to grow as a songwriter, and to always stay truthful with my storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
But in these first few moments of my singles that I've had out already, it feels so rewarding and fulfilling to know that people see the depth of what I write, and they can relate to these things I'm talking about, because I know it makes me know that I'm not alone in what I put out, and it just feels good to have that validation.
You just gave the best segue to your current single called Alone. I hadn't realized until you had mentioned the word alone in that phrase. I'm like, oh, beautiful. So let's move into that. Actually, but before we do, I have to have a slight pause, because in that video, which I want for Corduroy, that I want everyone to go see, you can get a glimpse, of course, of the presence that Coley has on the screen. But one scene especially really just it keeps rolling back in my mind, and it's that scene with you facing the closet toward the end. Yeah, it is so convincing, because it's one thing to see an artist portraying the action of what's happening, but after you two have separated, you've given clothes back, but the jacket remains, and you just have that final release almost of the emotion of the. What is that like for you to take your own work and put it in a visual form? So you're taking audio to visual, and then deciding, okay, well, this is where I need to do this, and I need to show. What was surrounding that particular scene, I guess, is what I want to ask.
Yeah, absolutely. Corduroy, a lot of times when I'm songwriting, visuals just kind of come to mind anyways, because that's how I kind of see things, and that's what I really love about how I work and how my creativity kind of happens and comes to life. And the music video, the way it all worked out was exactly how it needed to be, and it was a lot of understanding, what I want this song to be, and if it's something as special as this message I'm trying to put out, and the care that I'm giving the vocals and the production and whatnot, why not make the video just the same way? If if you're gonna do it, might as well do it and give it your all, and feel proud about it. And so I wanted to put something out after making mistakes in the past of releasing something when, it might have been rushed or just not exactly where I wanted it to be. And that goes into, being a perfectionist here and there. But I did really want to be proud of this moment looking back on this video, and I truly am. The concept of the video started, like I said, probably around 2018 when I was writing the song, and I went ahead and shot a rough draft just to kind of get the idea out. But I was thinking, oh, this is it. This is gonna be the one I put out, and this is gonna be, I'm done and I'm good. And that was not the case. Like reality hit me, and I went back and watched it, and then like a year or two passed, or whatever the case, and I just knew that it could be done better. Like the bones and the skeleton of the video was what I wanted, but I said, okay, let's get the budget where it needs to be. Let's get the crew, let's get the cast, whoever's involved. Let me really plan this out to the T, because I see the promise that this has. I want everyone to see what I know it can be. So I scrapped it. I went to the drawing board again. I got the song reproduced and just embellished and polished, re-recorded, whatever it took to kind of get a nice final product. And we shot the video. It might have been 2020. I think it was 2020. And shot the video again. And this time it was just perfect. Everything was working out and falling into place. It was a lot of moving parts, but they were falling into place. And I was so blessed. And I knew that God had his hands on the production, and with us kind of doing like a redo for the whole thing. Mm-hmm. I definitely enjoyed seeing it all come together, and it was just beautiful. We had filmed the video, and this is the funny part. We filmed the video and the song. There's one part of Corduroy that's the short version, I call it, and then there's an extended version. So how these two things came about, we had I had the short version. I thought that was going to be all I was going to release, and we filmed the video, and we went back and we just noticed we had so much footage that we would have kind of thrown away if we, didn't put it in the video. But the song was only, so long. So I had always had in the back of my mind a thought that, what, the song is good, but this song can be worthy of an extended portion that just kind of gives it more time for me to express a few more points that I want to make in this song, and a few more emotions that I want the audience to feel from this song, and kind of tie it off with a nice bow, and really close the sentence and this feeling of this song that it has. So I ended up we shot the video. I ended up going back to the drawing board to write the extended portion. So it was totally backwards. I wrote it. I got some violins and strings involved, and I was able to really craft it how it was all sounding in my brain. And then luckily we had the footage already there just to tie in and make it almost like a short little, it feels like a film to me almost. There's music videos, but this one definitely has a film quality that I was so grateful that we captured in the essence, and just not cutting the story short. Cutting the story short. Yeah. So that was beautiful.
That's a super testament to your to the flexibility that you bring to the table. And I have worked with you through Georgia Has Talent, and I've seen this actually live where, and it brings me back to it was COVID time. It was the first time you were working with us, and we treated it. We had the artists come in and film their segments instead of them running a live show. We taped it all. Which was my actually first experience in a production kind of environment, but you looked very much at home. But of course there are surprises, and so let's run this take, and then you would introduce the artist and they would come up, and if they messed up or something happened, it was a do-over. And I saw how professionally you handled that, and how you were able to bounce back and forth between being on the stage and then handling the mechanics behind it and getting ready for the next. It was very validating after we had gotten together and said, yeah, let's put you in this hosting role, and you just exceeded expectations by 1,000 degrees. So I can understand exactly what you mean, the evolution of that extended version and how you went back and your perfectionism too. You wanted us to have your craft be the best way it could be. It's just a testament to you as a performer and as a professional. Let's talk about balance a little bit, because a lot of people face this. You've got a personal life, you've got family, you've got friends, and you've got this we'll call it a job in the
Mm-hmm.
public eye. Do you have to turn it off sometimes? And I'm kind of speaking to social media a little bit, but
Yeah.
is it like, hey, it's Thanksgiving, let's have family dinner, let's do this. Do you find that difficult, or is it like pretty good balance for you right now?
I kind of, I've been really hard on myself, but in a healthy way, to not look back on my 20s and say, you know what, I just worked my 20s away. I worked it into the ground. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't take trips. I didn't just live life. So it's a battle within myself to know that it's okay to not be a workaholic 24/7. And although a lot of people may have that mentality and that drive, um, I've been creating the balance every day. Every day is a new challenge for me to have balance in my life, if I can. I love what I do. I'm grateful enough that my artistry and who I present myself to be as an artist is really me. So it's not like a facade I have to put on and like kind of
Hmm.
force my way, some type of entity that I'm really not. That's a blessing that I just being authentically myself when I am in my work mode. Um, but I I do really have to pray and just find the moments in the pockets that I can to either reward myself or to like forcefully tell myself, you know what, close the laptop, put the pen down, whatever you need
Hmm.
to do because you need time to restore. You can't put out good work if you're not restoring yourself creatively and mentally, and with food or whatever, or with rest and with even being entertained. As an entertainer, we're giving a lot of ourselves, on stage or whatever else.
Right.
And sometimes it's good to just want to be entertained and have a recharge of different arts and to be fueled by that. So I've been able to. I haven't mastered it by far, but it's been interesting to kind of navigate through my own back and forth of the time management or just really trying to make sure I don't run myself into the ground, especially during my 20s. I'm trying to go into this holiday season. My sister, this is funny, at Thanksgiving, because my song came out so recently, so my sister was like, you know what? It's time for you to do a concert, have your own headlining concert. And, she probably didn't even know that that's something that's been on my mind and it's something I'd like to do next year.
Oh.
You know what? Do it for your birthday. I said, nope, no, no, no. Nope. I put her down before the family started getting all excited and planning already because I appreciated her for saying that. But there's just been too many instances in the past where I've either, you know, not been in town for my birthday or just not been able to enjoy things because of work or because
Hmm.
things were double booked or whatever. So it's a really with being an independent artist, you have to know when to put your own foot down to say no to things. And then when it's time for it to happen, it's going to happen, and then you're going to give it your all when the moment comes.
That is so fascinating. It reminds me, actually, the last guest I had on the show, Sarah Faith. She's doing it's called a live local tour. She's an
Mm-hmm.
independent artist, kind of working toward some sort of future, and it's an amazing concept. What she's literally doing is reaching out, and if somebody wants to host her, she brings the gear. She's going to have the amp and the mic and the guitar and her, and make a very intimate show in someone's
Mm-hmm.
backyard, a smaller venue, but a chance to kind of connect with the true fans of her music. So,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to put anything on your plate or to add on to what your sister said, but
Uh-huh.
I could kind of see you
Right.
doing something like that, starting as a show here because you're our headliner material.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, you have the voice, you have the dynamic, you have the entertainment factor. I just that has, I, you probably shouldn't have told me this because I'm going to feed add fuel to the fire. But what I get back to is I appreciate the fact that you do take that time because you're right. As an independent artist, you're getting pulled in many directions. You're doing a lot of things, but you can stop it. You can put the brakes on it. And I
Yeah.
love that you would just say, you know what, I'm excited as you guys are, my family about
Right.
this, but hey, let's let's grab the turkey and let's have some stuffing and so
Yeah.
yeah, that's amazing, and hopefully you can maintain that. And I know we talked before about those that pull from the entertainment industry that is a negative, yeah, you're going to be able to maintain the course, you imagine, right? That's just
Yeah.
a part of you to be able to say no. I guess that's the big question. Are you going to find it more difficult to say no in the future, or do you think you're going to be able to say no and say yes to the right things as you move along?
You know, I hope moving forward that as I continue to learn the business, as I continue to be confident as a businesswoman, because it's not just grabbing the mic and singing. If I'm going to have the control over my career, I have to be a businesswoman. I have to step into those big shoes and make big choices. And that comes with being decisive. That's something I have been praying over to have more of in my life: decisiveness and just strengthen my decisions. I would hope that as I grow and get older and have bigger things come into play, that you know the right decisions will just be apparent, and they'll like God will speak to me and tell me what it is I need to do. And like I said, with having the roots that I have and that I'm just so blessed and honored to have from a young, just since birth, with just being in the church and being surrounded by great people, great family members, a great community, that's really instilled in me already a nice trajectory of going towards the right way of staying on path and not letting myself get pulled severely by the industry, because I know it can be a shark and it can be really almost like a tsunami when you get involved.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I feel very confidently in just where I'm going and how I've already been maneuvering within it, that I'll be able to make the right decisions. And I know that's really what I want to happen, because I know if I'm not doing what I feel like I should be doing, I'm not going to be happy. So I'm not going to want to be involved. And if I'm doing that, I'm going to want to be happy. So
sure.
That's what I hope to do.
Yeah, and I think that's sage advice. Really, for anyone in this business, is to surround yourself with a core group of people who are there for all the right reasons. And of course, your family starts that way. By blood, you've got your group, and as your circle expands, to just keep it as tight as possible with people who would do anything and go the extra mile to support your dream, and likewise, you would do the same thing for them. And I think I've seen that a lot. I've seen that with performers who have have their backing and they go far. So I think that's great. I'd love to move a little bit into gear. I like to talk about gear with a lot of my guests, because it's sometimes it's a hot button topic. Sometimes it's like, I don't really care, I just pick up this and that. But you've got enough mileage, let's say, in the business, or years in the business, are there certain things that you not must-haves necessarily, but your dependable items of your craft that we can share that knowledge onto others, and if they choose to try it out, maybe it would work for them too.
Absolutely. Right off the bat, I'm looking at it right in front of me. My hard drive, my SSD hard drive, that's just so important. And I really need to back up. So I have a backup, because too often, and knock on wood, but too often I hear about people, having their hard drive either, lost or whatever the case is.
Mm-hmm.
And that would just be so devastating. So I think that as a creative, anybody, whatever you do, and I'm kind of a hoarder, so I love to hold on to just old projects, old keep as much as possible. Because they're just they're cute to me, just to have older things. So definitely a hard drive is helpful, especially when you're on the go, just to have it on you, but also so that it's safe and not something that can be easily destroyed or erased.
Sure.
As a performer, I got hooked on this certain mic stand. It's kind of weird, but it's a mic stand that just the way it maneuvers up and down, you don't have to kind of unscrew it or finagle with it. It's like a grip. You kind of grip the clasp, and I can't really explain it, but it's been helpful.
It takes away the awkwardness of that movement and makes it quick.
Yeah. I've got me one of those. So even if it's a performance venue that they probably have mic stands for me, I probably always pack it in my cart and use it just in case. You just never know sometimes.
Yeah.
And outside of that, another great thing I've invested in recently has been my own banner, but it's a vertical banner, almost like a step and repeat, but it's just a bit skinnier, and it's something that I can, roll up and roll down and keep in my car for performances where I might not have the luxury of a big screen behind me with my name and my social media and all this and that for people to see as I'm on stage.
Yeah.
And that I'll prop it up in front of the stage or right in front of the audience or whatever. So as people are going back and forth or passing it or, even seeing me, they can reference that and take a picture of it, and boom, they instantly are able to remember, all your information, especially when you're singing. You don't get the chance to, announce your name every 2 seconds. You have
right.
to sing.
And you're not wearing it on your shirt or anything. So
right. So that extra bit of marketing and branding yourself is really important. I've really enjoyed having that with me, and I continue, to use it a bit more. Some other little things I do. I do my editing for my videos. For most of my content that's online and social media. So I use Adobe Premiere Pro software. I've been enjoying that. I'm still learning, everything about it, but it's been getting the job done. So that's been fun. I started with iMovie like most people have, but I'm using Adobe Premiere. Same thing with production. I started with GarageBand, and now I'm on to Logic. I do know about the other ones, but Logic is where I'm comfortable for right now until I move on to the big boys. And then I use my phone for recording for the most part. Looking forward to getting a nice camera. And there's different apps that I love that I go to help me kind of do any quick edits and stuff like that for my content.
Yeah, that sounds good. And then you've spoken well to the evolution of the tools of the trade. It's amazing. So on the horizon, you know what? We have forgotten completely. We forgot Alone. We left alone. So let's move back into that because that's very current for you. It's just released. And of course it was a hot topic at the dinner table recently. So, talk about that a little bit and your thoughts around where that might go. And I think you said you've already gotten some great feedback from fans on it. What's happening with that?
Sure. Yes. Alone is my latest single. It's just an anthem. It's an anthem for embracing the times where you might be by yourself. And whether that's because, you're going through weird things with your friends, like you name it. There might be a time in your life where you kind of feel alone. Maybe you're moving to a new city, whatever the case is. I wanted this song to be relatable to those circumstances because there's such an empowering breakthrough that can happen once you kind of own being alone in a positive light and don't let that kind of be your downfall to feeling sad about life and sad about your circumstances. I wrote it some years ago, so it was just so important for me to have songs that I've had done for a while and to just try to get them out there. That's what my goal is for this upcoming year to get things released and let people see more of my music as much as I can, but still keeping my sanity throughout my workload. So Alone is an anthem. It's fun, but the message behind it can be just touching, just to know that you may not be surrounded by whoever you think you want in your corner, but no matter what, especially if you're religious like I am, I know I'm always going to have my faith as a cushion, and but it's going to take self-work. It's going to take work to get to that spot of being confident in that state of being alone, but it's going to be so worth it. So I wanted people to resonate with that. And just like with my other songs, I kind of think that every single of mine should have a video. Every song I write, I'm always already thinking about a video for it. This song, I definitely see one happening. I don't want to rush it, but I do think that the message is poignant enough to really be deserving of a nice video. I just want to I want to do it justice. So I've been toiling around with some ideas already. And I think once the new year hits, I think that's really the time to really kick off for the production of a video to come out and, but also give me some time in between the release of the song to just breathe and enjoy the song being out on its own before I get into work mode again about the video.
And it's good, like you said, it's nice to take a break from something and come back with a fresh perspective, and it
Yeah.
just helps you to generate new ideas. I was thinking of this as you were talking. So it was 2020. You said that you wrote that one, and of course that would plant us in COVID,
Hmm.
pretty deep in that time. And was that a driving force? Because literally, for the first time in history or modern history, we have isolation, purposeful
Right.
isolation, and people had to learn to be alone. Much.
Yeah.
Do you think that had anything to do with it, like from the genesis of the song, or could someone interpret the song as a reflection on that time?
Oh, absolutely. I think that it's just so coincidental that they they relate so much. Um, I believe I started writing alone. I feel like I want to say 2019,
Mm-hmm.
but I will say during the pandemic was when I was taking initiative to get some of my songs reproduced and just ready to be released. So that was one of the few that I picked, and I just knew that it was time for me to pick
Mm-hmm.
that one, get finished, and for that to be my single that happened after Corduroy. I was ready to kind of give something a little more upbeat for the people, and but also with a message that is just it's refreshing, but it's not a ballad where you want to cry afterwards. Like it might
Yeah.
make you want to cry, still probably still be dancing at the same time. So the pandemic, like exactly how you said, with being alone in that time, that's where I was able to really hone in on knowing that this song was ready to be released, and getting it done was my priority.
Yeah, that makes total sense. All right. Well, we're almost here at the end. So you've got Alone, and that's going to simmer for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about your, like, what keeps you busy other than producing your own stuff. Do you have some other gigging that you do? I know that there's something coming up in March, but maybe we'll hit that. We'll hit that at the very end. But
Yeah,
what goes on with you to kind of keep your creative juices flowing on a regular basis?
for sure. Yes, I am. I've been a busy bee,
I know
and
you have.
yeah, I am. Since 2018, I've been a part of this theatrical stage show called Drumline Live. It's an HBCU inspired national tour and production, and yeah, you just it's just packing a punch of what it feels like to be involved in the HBCU marching band. It's a whole world that a lot of people don't know, and it's just so entertaining and so rich of culture and just fun and awesome musicality. And so in that production, I've been dance captain, so it's mainly dance for me, and that's
Mm-hmm.
been great to explore that side of my talent. Um, and but singing is involved, and it has the whole nine: costumes, lights, and that's that's so much of what I've already been itching to get at for my own productions and my own tours. So I've been blessed to be a part of that production. Outside of that, something a little more, well, kind of a little more frequent is I am in the scene of bands here in Atlanta. I'm in a
Mm.
band called Fleet Irresistible. We are an entertainment performance band, for all types of gigs, corporate events, um, we are doing birthday parties, weddings, whatever the case is. But this band has been such a pleasure to be a part of because everyone in the band is just out here getting it like I am, and the talent and the energy that we bring is truly insane and just really on the next level. And it's like I said with Drumline, the caliber is so even across the board with those two outside things and then with what I do. So it's just it doesn't feel like work. It just feels like I'm continuing to. I may be traveling. I may be having a lot on my plate, but it's worth it because it's performing and it's performing with people that are good and that love it, and traveling here and there and just getting like a taste of what it'll be like when it's when it's under my own name.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do live with that. So, you know, I'm blessed to have kind of 80%
Absolutely.
of those be performing.
Yeah, and it's funny too because, and that's not funny, but it's in stark contrast to the mindset. Let's say the starving artist who's working tables in California, in Los Angeles or whatever, which is a whole different deal. You're able to nourish yourself, nourish your creative juices with work that you love doing. And maybe even reaping the benefit of learning some, a couple of new dance moves here and there, or seeing how you are as an instructor. Because if you're a dance captain, you're teaching others how to do it, and learning about yourself and how you deliver messages and the whole 9 yards. I think that's fantastic and can only propel you further. So I'm enthralled with that. I'm happy that you're able to do that, and like you said, it's a true blessing. So to close out, because I don't want to keep you here all night. I know you've got 1,000 things to do, but there is something in March that you're going to be involved in.
You better know it. I am so grateful to be hosting for the third time.
Yay.
Georgia Has Talent 2023. Just an amazing show from top to bottom. And beyond that, it's a show that has purpose and meaning to help beat out cancer and be a part of the people and the people who, not even if you've, been affected by cancer from a loved one or just in a close relationship, it's just a good organization and a good show that is bringing different talents from all ages together. And I just couldn't say no to being involved with it. And granted, I was kind of taken aback because, Jay, you had told me I was going to be hosting. I said, huh? So, like, oh my goodness, I'm comfortable on stage, but hosting is a little different, and I hadn't had much experience in that. But it's been such an awesome way to open, just to easily kind of go through a different avenue of what my artistry can do without me even knowing, and just taking that leap and trusting you, and already enjoying what the whole mission is that you guys have. So I'll be hosting March 18th. Georgia Has Talent. Definitely excited, as I always am, to be involved.
And we'd love to have you out and to have you a part of that. And what you might not know on the other side of the coin there, and I didn't know that you had any apprehensions at all about doing it, because I had total faith in seeing all of the things that you had done before. So, and you wouldn't see it. I challenge anyone to see anything aside from total confidence and delivering the message, and just the things that you come up to say about the artists in between. If there's any awkward pauses, if we're having gear trouble or whatnot, you fill that space for us. It's just, again, a testament to someone who thrives on the stage and who can manage a situation no matter which way it goes sideways. And I'm so appreciative of the things that you do for that. And I just can't wait to see how it grows with you in the future. And it's been a super pleasure to talk to you. And I can't wait to reconnect with you in March, if not before. And of course, all the things that we've mentioned here, we'll try to reference at the website, livinginthelimelight.com. And of course, through the podcasting sites. So thank you, Coley, for giving us your time, and best wishes for everything coming up. And it's been a super pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Jason. Phenomenal. I appreciate you. I will see you on March 18th, hopefully sooner, but thank you so much for this interview. It was a joy.
Me too. All right. Take care. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
But first I'm gonna double check before I leave. Pack my bag, my phone, my keys. You know I'm a natural girl, but miss the weeds. On the crazy nights like these, girl, get dressed up when you're stressed out. Wear some makeup, let it all out. Cause tonight I'm gonna be in the zone. Quit delaying, playing, trying to postpone. Do it alone. Do it alone. Do it alone. I'm probably gonna have a few regrets, but I don't wanna think about them yet. I would rather go out on my own. here looking miserable at home. Then I get a feeling that just don't feel right. It happens to me every Friday night. Procrastination all up in my brain. I'm about to drive myself insane.